In the heart of South America, a land stretches from emerald forests to far-reaching coasts, a land whose story begins long before borders and flags. For thousands of years, before the word Brazil was spoken, millions of indigenous people called this place home. Their names, Tupi, Guarani, Yanomami, Kayapo, echoed through vast rivers, dense jungles, and mountain valleys. In the cool shade of the Amazon, families fished and gathered. In clearings on the savanna, elders taught children how root crops like cassava could feed entire villages. Stories flowed, not ink on paper but words and songs, as history traveled from one generation to the next. Nature was never just scenery, it was alive, sacred, and binding. Forests mapped out spiritual worlds, rivers provided both fish and legends. There was no concept of land ownership. People belonged to the land, not the other way around. Trade paths crisscrossed hundreds of miles, connecting distant groups and transmitting tools, seeds, ideas. While newcomers later called this world untamed wilderness, it was, in truth, alive with innovation and complexity. Then, in 1500, white sails broke the horizon. Pedro Álvares Cabral and his crew set foot on Brazil's coast, marking the year Europeans first arrived. Gold and glory were not their immediate aim. Brazilwood, a rush of red dye, drew their first feverish attention. But as the Portuguese crown claimed Brazil, ancient ways unraveled. Indigenous people faced forced labor and new, deadly diseases. Lush coastal forests were felled. In a few decades, entire societies collapsed. As Portugal entrenched its colonial rule, sugar cane fields appeared, particularly in the northeast. These plantations demanded endless labor. Indigenous resistance and the brutal failures of enslavement led Portugal to Africa. Over 3 million enslaved Africans were torn from their homelands to toil in Brazil. Their pain fueled the colonial treasury but also sparked enduring resistance. Some ran and built quilombos, societies of freedom in the wild. Palmares became a legend, surviving decades as a beacon of hope. The 1700s brought another lure, gold and diamonds in miners' juraris. Towns mushroomed in the interior, fortunes poured outward, but only a privileged few benefited. Beneath riches, layers of exploitation deepened, whispers of independence began to circulate. Then, in 1808, a twist nearly unmatched, the entire Portuguese royal family fled Napoleon's armies and landed in Rio de Janeiro. For years, Brazil was the heartbeat of the Portuguese Empire. The city grew, the country changed, and when the king eventually returned to Europe, his son Dom Pedro stayed. In 1822, Dom Pedro declared independence, crowning himself emperor. Brazil began its journey as an independent nation, one ruled by monarchy, still clinging to old hierarchies and the system of slavery.